Hey, what's happening? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and One True Sport TV. No, Brass Ring Media. Hey, yes, that's right. No more One True Sport. We did a little brand change if you're not aware of that. And now we are Brass Ring Media. We merged with Zach Haydorn and his fun outlet. And so we're going to be doing more live content. I will be starting a new show here today, as a matter of fact, is on my game plan. If you were familiar with One True Sport and you were early on there, I used to do a daily hotline, no, a weekly hotline. Well, guess what? I'm making it a daily hotline, 10-minute daily hotline at least on the Brass Ring Media YouTube channel. Just run down the news real quick, give my opinions, probably on some stuff maybe I don't cover on here, and yeah, something a little fun and keep fans engaged with. Maybe what I'll do is try to field some questions too for those shows a little bit here and there, maybe a little mailbag kind of thing, but just something new and fresh to add onto the channel. So if you haven't yet subscribed it, go to Brass Ring Media, type that in on your YouTube and find it and subscribe. Lots of great content on there that we do live and everything like that. So wanted to make mention of that. Let's say some shout outs for today. We got Dre Owens. Saturday Night's Main Event looks to be fun. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Cammy Star says Robert slacking again. So yes, a little show update this week. Robert will be unavailable this whole week. So you will either A, be stuck with me, or B, I'll have a guest that you'll also be stuck with. So there we go. It should be a fun little oh my god, I can't think of the word. Fun little excursion? That's not what I'm looking for. But no Robert this week, unfortunately. He is a busy man. He's had something unexpected come up with his law job, so he will not be here this week, unfortunately. Let's give some shout outs to some folks. Boom. Triple E says Marcus was cheated again at what should have been an illegal hit, but Dom did a fantastic job on commentary. Can y'all make sense of Max going back to HBO Max? I can make plenty of sense of that because HBO is such a household name. I was flabbergasted they got rid of HBO. Like, it seems so stupid. Like, that is a brand people associate with. And the thing with HBO is, like, even when I was a kid, it was like almost like an unattainable channel in a lot of ways. You had to pay to get it, and there was a lot of great content that was early on there that you wouldn't get on regular cable television. So the fact that HBO is that they got rid of it and went to Max, it just seemed like such a backwards thing to do if you're trying to market and package something you're trying to sell and to get people into it. And you think about what HBO ultimately became associated with, from The Sopranos to Game of Thrones to The Wire to so many other classic kind of programming that is just Deadwood, like really, really great programming. And the fact that you get rid of that and think that that's a savvy move, I thought it was just such a stupid move to do it initially. So good on them for bringing it back and, not being afraid to pivot like some wrestling companies should be doing sometimes, right? So good to see it back in the mix. All right. One TS Daily is back in that's great. We'll Brass Ring Media Daily. So I'll do the hotline. I think Zach is going to do his Brass Ring Media show still, maybe like twice a week or whatever he's been doing there. And so we'll have some good stuff going on there. Ron Ward says, that's mean we'll have 25 minutes to come up with the funniest thing that could keep Robert occupied for a full week. That's exactly right, Ron. That's exactly right. Those corporate execs obviously forgot how HBO was a superior to Cinemax back in the 90s. Absolutely. It was. It really was. Like, yeah, you could think about, if you're a kid, you're thinking about like some of the alluring stuff that was on there. What was it, like Taxi Cab Confessionals or something on there that was on there a while? And like, oh man, like a little risque stuff, but it also felt like higher class to watch. And so very weird. Triple E says, Cammy, your mom, are you happy Netflix is saving Sesame Street since HBO killed all the kids programs? It's pretty wild. Yes, Sesame Street, tremendous. Obviously, I was a kid once and we watched Sesame Street, and yeah, I love the Muppets and I loved all that stuff. So it was a bummer to kind of see that was going away from PBS. Cool, it's on Netflix and on a big platform. Still a bummer though, right? Like PBS. Think about that. Mr. Rogers, Reading Rainbow, Sesame Street, Arthur. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Wishbone. I'm really dating myself, aren't I? Trey Owens said HBO had great content they learned from TNA and Impact. Go back to the brand. Absolutely. You got it. You got it. All right. Can you guys tell I didn't watch SmackDown? Because I didn't. But I did catch wind of JC Mateo. And he debuted on SmackDown. Had his match against LA Knight. Yeah. And got the win. Love the use of him. I don't mind the name change at all. I think it's okay. He's still got Jeff Cobb. It's JC. I think it's a fun aspect. Now, I will say, just as a visual, and I'm big into the visual. It's a pro wrestling is a visual game, so it's just like you see, and it kind of you place judgment on it. It is that's the name of pro wrestling. It's a visual business. It clearly is. So when I see all the bloodline dressed up like they're either like somewhat dressed like the Shield or somewhat dressed like a street gang and things like that. I don't know. It kind of takes it away a little bit. I would love to see them actually wear wrestling attire, and I get it. I get Solo does and Fatu does, but it's like you think about Jeff Cobb, what he was wearing, and you think about typically. I mean, I guess Tamatonga kind of wears something, but I would like something a little bit more, I don't know, cohesive. You don't get a lot of cohesive ring attires anymore. If you're part of a faction, you're part of a group, nothing ties everybody together. Like that's kind of the bummer. I like that aspect of pro wrestling. It's visually pleasing, right? I don't know. Is that weird to me to think? I just think it's a cool thing to do, and why not do that with the bloodline a little bit more, especially this new bloodline? Give them a different feel and a different vibe. Like I understand getting the fact across that like they're like almost like a rebellious faction in certain ways and like really wild and out of place, but it doesn't mean you don't have it. Could give you more of the incentive to have street colors like that. I don't know. I just think it would be kind of nice to have something like that. All right, let's see what Wrestling World says. Okay, imagine if there was a collegiate athlete named JC Mateo that worked his way up through the Performance Center and made his WWE debut on SmackDown, and they named him Jeff Cobb. It does sound like a collegiate athlete name, though. JC Mateo. Who's the guy we're thinking of here? Not Tua Tagovailoa. What was the name of the Notre Dame star that got catfished? Didn't he have a name like that? And then he kind of fizzled out in the NFL. I think he got drafted by the Chargers or something. Around the same time Sean Merriman did. What is his name? Something with them. But anywho, I thought good thing to. I like Jeff Cobb. Cool, they're using him in the right manner. Gets a win against LA Knight. I'm all for it. Also like the aspect of, yes, Manti Teo. That is it. Thank you, Ron Ward. Manti Teo. That's what I keep thinking about when I hear that name. But yeah, still a good name. I like it. I like it. JC Mateo. Does sound like a collegiate thing, like to Wrestling Hood's point. Oh my God, what was I just saying? Who was I talking about? Oh, R-Truth and John Cena. I like it. I like what R-Truth's already doing. This is like a fun diversion. That's the word I was looking for. Not excursion, diversion. From what we're used to seeing John Cena go up against in regards to like, hey, main eventers and big names. This is like a cool, fun attraction match almost, right? R-Truth versus John Cena. I'm all for that. Yeah, I think it's a cool thing to do. And what R-Truth's already doing, did you see his I think his profile picture is now him dressed as John Cena. It's good stuff. So I think that is very fun to do. Speaking of good stuff, dressed in John Cena attire too. John Cena made mention. In chat, you can help me out here. Give me your opinions. I want to hear your feedback. John Cena said what his favorite John Cena piece of merchandise was, and that was his Super Mario version that he came out. Apparently, it was on a limited run, which I had no idea. It's like if you're familiar with Super Mario 3, his attire looked like that. Like he's like flying almost or something like that. And they only made like a few t-shirts. And I guess they were super expensive and they came in like a package and there was like an NFT and they were so expensive they didn't sell very well. So only a few people actually bought them. And so now they're like a super rare limited item. Apparently WWE was just like, F it, let's just mass produce them and sell them like regular t-shirts. And John Cena put his foot down and said, no, I'm not doing that. And so they ended up not doing it because he wanted to make sure that those items stayed rare for the people that actually put the money and invested and bought them because they were serial numbered shirts even and stuff like that. Cammy Stars, her favorite shirt was the NFT shirt. Yeah, that's what it was, right? Because that was an NFT shirt, was the Super Cena shirt, the Super Mario shirt. I'll tell you what my favorite one is. I was thinking of the one he just had it a couple, was almost like the GI Joe action figure one, I think it was. But then I started your comment, Cammy, almost made me think about this. The different one was the AWA shirt that he had, where it was like a parody of the AWA. I thought that was a really, really neat looking, cool homage to the history of wrestling. So I think the AWA version of John Cena's merchandise was probably my favorite T-shirt. I will say, maybe I'll wear this on the program at some point. I actually did buy John Cena WrestleMania tee. I went to the shop and I was just going to get a towel, like one of the John Cena towels. I was just going to put it back here. And I was like, that'd be a cool little piece of merch to just have behind me. But they were gone. Everything was gone. Like, I guess they said the people at the superstore told me that that John Cena that the towels sold out in like 2 days, like really, really quickly. And so I was like, well, and there was not a lot left of Cena merchandise, like WrestleMania Cena merchandise there. So I was like looking around and I was like, whoa, oh, there's the small. I wear a small. There's a small version of the Cena shirt. And I was like, I guess I'll get that. So I got that. So little souvenir I got in WrestleMania. I don't buy a whole lot of wrestling merch anymore. I mean, you do see some of the. I get figures from time to time. When I had more money, I bought that replica Razor Ramon belt you see back there, which is really, really cool. And I don't buy belts at all. That's the first ever wrestling belt I ever bought. But I love Scott Hall and Razor Ramon Intercontinental Championship. That's when I was a kid, so I got that. And then I try to get a lot of the Scott Hall Elite figures sometimes, but yeah, I don't go if something really, really unique pops up, I will get it. But I don't go crazy anymore for figures or wrestling tees. I do have a lot of wrestling tees, though. That being said, a lot of wrestling tees. Let's see. Did R-Truth ever sell 53-time World Hardcore Championships? I don't think he did. He should do that, though, right? That'd be a cool move. Robert Mader says, I'm late to this discussion, but the reason HBO changed it to Max was because it included channels like Investigative Discovery, Cooking Channel, Discovery Plus, so it just went with Max. Still stupid, though. Like, it's like, who cares about Investigative Discovery? Who cares about a Cooking Channel or Discovery? Like, HBO's the name. HBO is what you're tying it to. And calling it HBO Max is like, okay, well, the Max means everything else. And then there's HBO. I don't know. It's a bad marketing move. Bad marketing move on their part initially. But kudos for them for pivoting back to it. I know. Do you hear Razor? He's been meowing here, out and about. He's looming around right now in the living room here. So he wants fed right now. But he's gonna have to wait till the show is over. So I don't really watch cooking shows. Okay, this is gonna date me too, though. Who remembers the early days of the FX? The really early days. I'm talking where they were just coming up with programming like in like a studio, and it was like they had like a pet show basically. I think they had to have had like a cooking show, but it was just like it was such a I don't know, unique and weird platform that would go on in the afternoon when FX first debuted as a channel. And I really can't remember what the names of the shows were, the programming. Geez, am I going to have to look this up? Is that what I'm going to have to do here? Is look up what FX original programming was? I have no idea what it was. Good golly. Oh man, dude, wow, we got all right, man. I've got one of so guys. Okay, I am going to preface this as I actually bring it up. Um, look, we have one of our biggest sponsors to date here. To date, this is real stuff here. So if you guys ever want to help out the show and you want a super duper duper great deal on something like a great offer, this is what's happening this week, and this is how you can do it this week as well. So let's. Who's familiar with Ridge Wallets? Anybody? I was familiar with Ridge Wallets, and you know what? I saw my nephew actually got one for Christmas, and like, uh, I was at that point I was unfamiliar with them. I did hear of the brand before, but I didn't know what they were all about and stuff like that. And so, but then I saw it and I was like, wow, this is cool. It's like nice, compact, uh, like heavy duty, so it's like durable and things like that. And I was like, this is a neat little wall. And I dog-eared that in my head. I was like, I really want one of those at some point. When I get the money to get one, I will get one. And well, sure enough, boom, who became a sponsor this week but Ridge Wallets. I am so excited about this sponsorship. And you can see it right there, like right in the corner here. You look at your normal wallet, thick, loaded up with stuff. Ridge Wallet keeps things compact, and you can keep up the plenty of several cards in there. And boy, do I got one right here. Check it out. How cool is this? Now look how thin that is and tiny that is. Like that's all I have right here. And they got a little thing that you can lift up, and then you fan out the wallet stuff. Look at that. And you got. So I'll try not to. There's my insurance card and stuff like that, but bank account card, everything like that. And then you get a little cash clip back here too. But this is really really cool. And I was so excited when I got this. I really needed a wallet too, really bad. Like I used to get comic book wallets that were made out of comic books, and those are pretty cool too. And they lasted a long time, but this was really wearing thin. It was beat up. I was like, I need a new wallet ASAP, and this came in just at the nick of time. Ridge Wallets. And so actually this is the wrong lower thirds because it says 10%. But see, we have a special Memorial Day deal for everybody here. Let me see if I can pull it up too. It is 40%. You can get 40% off of Ridge Wallets right now, right here, right now. And yes, it is such a cool thing. I'll here once I pull up the graphics here. Let me make sure I get this out of the way here. Is but what's a really neat thing here too is a key. You get a combo where it's like a new keychain basically. And these are super awesome too. Here, I'll show these in a second once I pull up the new graphic. But yes, I cannot explain how happy I am for this. I was seriously pumped. Seriously pumped. And if you go to the website, you will see they have so many different versions. If you're a big sports team fan, they have all the NFL teams. I was looking at the New York Jets one. I think they have MLB teams. I was even looking at the Pirates one, but I want my wallet to be successful, unlike the Pirates, so I did not get that instead. So yeah, there's a lot of cool ones that you can really get and check them out. And can you tell how excited I am about this sponsorship? I was super pumped about this one. Oh, there it is. So yes, get up to 40% off with code rumor right now. You go to ridge.com/rumor. Now check it out. Here's the keychain too. So this is the other thing that I'm talking about here. So this is the keys, much like the Ridge wallet. You can fit up to 6 keys in here. So I only have 3 keys I have to worry about. But again, it's much like the wallet itself, where you push it and they fan out like this. It's really, really cool. You feel very high tech, and it saves so much space in your pockets. It's awesome. It is super awesome, especially if you're somebody on the go like I am. The Ridge wallet, you cannot beat it right there. Look at that thing. So lots of different cool styles, everything like that. Let me make sure too that I cover all the bases with this too. So right now, Ridge was having their huge Memorial Day sale. Get up to 40% off at ridge.com/rumor. Just head to ridge.com/rumor to see their biggest sale of the year. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that our show sent you. Rumor and Innuendo. Yeah, it is awesome. Like I said, there's plenty of different styles to get, and it's an investment. It's a cool investment to get a wallet like this because they have a lifetime guarantee on this. You can't beat it. Lifetime guarantee. So once you get this, it stays with you. And You can get it all fixed up if anything ever goes wrong. But these are extremely durable, extremely sturdy. I'm very, very happy with these. I always know where it is too at all times because it's got some heft to it, but it's nice and compact too at the same time. Highly recommend Ridge Wallets. Very excited that they're a sponsor this week. So check them out right now. Help out the show in a big way with this if you really need a new wallet and everything. So there we go. All right. Cool. Yes, you guys got to come up with the a new ad here. If you come up with some cool catchphrases. Ridge Holland Wallet? How about that, huh? Oh, Willie Thornbrew says Sons of Anarchy was still the best thing on FX. I liked Sons of Anarchy. I even liked the ending. And I liked the aspect of the Shakespearean aspect of it all, very Hamlet-esque. So I thought that was cool. My favorite show of all time, who knows this one, is Justified. Justified is my number one television show, and that was on FX. Originally written by my favorite author of all time, Elmore Leonard, who I'm currently reading a book of now. He passed away in 2013. So as Justified was on the air, I think it was 2013. Maybe it was later on. But yeah, my favorite author of all time, favorite television show of all time. Justified was awesome. Boyd Crowder, if you're familiar with Walton Goggins, he is one of the major players in that show. So he's a must watch in that as well. But yeah, very much. You can learn a lot of good storytelling from shows like that, from Sons of Anarchy and from Justified. You can apply that to wrestling in a lot of ways too, because there's baby faces, there's heels, and there's cool baby faces, and there's cool heels and bad heels. And it's, I mean, if you had, I probably said this before too back in the day, but if you took Vince McMahon and had him sit down and watch episodes of Justified and get invested into a good story arc that had long-term storytelling, but also short-term storytelling too, because each episode of Justified was singular in its own right. Like they had its own single story, but overall in each season there was this overarching story that would go on throughout the whole season. And like that's a lot what pro wrestling can learn from. How do you make this one program in particular unique? How do you make tonight's Monday Night Raw particularly unique? By telling a story maybe that is contained to this one episode of Raw. But then how do you also progress things at the same time? There's a lot of ways to do it. There's a lot of ways to make this bread, and I think pro wrestling can learn a lot just from regular television. And I will say the same thing too in the reverse. I think a lot of regular television can learn from pro wrestling too in a lot of ways, because it's at its core simple storytelling, good versus evil. Boom. People like violence. There's a lot of violence on television. I mean, and you get all those elements of entertainment, sports and athleticism and all that stuff mixed in with pro wrestling. But at the core, it's just simplicity. And, that's what makes things entertaining. You just put things in different lights. You have characters in different lights that you can vicariously live through, and you put them on television in a wrestling ring or in a show like Justified, and you root for that character. You root for that person. You see similarities maybe with the baby face, and sometimes you can relate to the heel even though they're an evil person. And it's just like, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and that is the core of storytelling. I mean, it is. It's just, you just keep it simple, stupid. Justified was like that. It was just like good guy versus bad guy, good guy versus bad guy, intriguing bad guy, intriguing good guy that you always want to root behind. And then even sometimes a good guy would do some heelish stuff once in a while. Be like, why'd you do that, Raylan? What the heck? What's going on here? Raylan Givens was the name of the main character. I'm glad I went off on this wild tangent because I didn't watch SmackDown. Hey, let's check out what Raw has on tap for us tonight, eh? WWE Raw Preview. But yeah, does anybody have any favorite Cena merchandise? Let's get back to that. If anybody does, let me shout it out in the chat. John Cena's, a lot of his merchandise obviously got criticized because it's all kid oriented in a lot of ways, and but I thought a lot of it was unique, some unique stuff. Kami Star also shouts out What We Do in the Shadows. That's a great series too. That's a lot of fun. The movie was really fun too. If nobody's actually seen the movie came out like years before the television series did, and really, really funny. I watched that in Philadelphia with my ex-girlfriend. That's not why we ended the show. I mean, that's why we ended the relationship. That movie might have helped us a little bit, actually. All right. Let's see here. Raw preview. I always go with our friends at Fightful to run down the preview because they're very straight and direct. Shout out to Jeremy Lambert right in this preview. Hailing from Greenville, South Carolina. Woo-wee! Did you guys know I used to live in South Carolina? North Middle Beach, South Carolina. Lived there for a year. I was really into pro wrestling back then too. I was like in 9th grade. So it was right around WrestleMania 2000. The video game came out. Marcus, my degenerate brother, and I, we used to make Monopoly boards. Literally, we would take a game board, paste paper over it, and draw out a Monopoly board. And each Monopoly board spot, like Boardwalk, we did a WCW one, and then we did a WWE one. And so, like, the main Boardwalk, like the main stars at the top, I think were like Sting and Hogan. Maybe Goldberg was like one of them too. And then we also had the WWE one. So Steve Austin, The Rock, they were at the top, but they were Boardwalk and Park Place and stuff like that. I'm just going nuts here. Okay. Raw preview. Greenville, South Carolina at the Bond Secures Wellness Arena. But hey, we got a lot of stuff on tap here. AJ Styles and Penta tagging up to go against Judgment Day, which would be Finn Balor and JD McDonough. AJ Styles, what a tandem that is. Him and Penta together. You'd think if you were to go back like a year and a half, you would never fathom them to be a team together because, I mean, Penta's in AEW. AJ Styles is on his own route, maybe hurt at the time even. So it's just like, how would that combination ever come to be? And sure enough, we're getting it right here tonight. Should be pretty fun. We got Sheamus taking on Grayson Waller. They need to do a little bit more with Grayson Waller. They got to get him and Austin Theory cooking again. I think those are guys that still have a very high ceiling. I think what Austin Theory you can really do some babyface stuff with. And Grayson Waller, you can make them such a really, really good, more antagonistic heel that, when I see Grayson Waller, I think of Miz, but with a little bit more fire behind it, if that makes sense. Like he's got a little bit more intensity and he's got a little bit more, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? It's like when he takes a dig at you, it feels a little bit more hurtful, right? It's not as like, I don't know, facetious as the Miz is. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but he's got a little bit more fire behind it, I think. And I think there's something you can really, really do with him a lot more. So hopefully this is something that they'll continue to do. We have Jey Uso taking on Braun Breaker. Should be a fun match. Like to see them protect Braun Breaker in a lot of ways. So I hopefully they make him look really, really dominant in this. I'm sure there'll be some involvement with like Sami Zayn and some chicanery going on. I'm sure I'm using that wrong again, but I think that'll be a good match. We also have Money in the Bank qualifiers, so we're in that season right now. Kind of funny too. I should really go back and look at the SmackDown results now I think about it because we did have those Money in the Bank qualifying matches. So let's see what happened exactly. Who qualified already? Who do we get? Let's take a little gander here as I roll on through. So we had Alexa Bliss taking on Mishin, taking on Chelsea Green. I'm glad I'm completely doubling back on this. Is this for Money in the Bank? Yes. Qualifying bout. So this was it. And Bliss qualified. Good for her. So that's good. We haven't seen a whole lot from Bliss since her return. So her getting in the mix here and being in the Money in the Bank is good news for them. Then we had Fraxium defeating DIY. That's good. I think they're a very fun tag team. Oh, yes, I did remember seeing some highlights here. Aleister Black taking on Carmelo Hayes. Man, I just being able to see Black being able to do what he does, like he is awesome. I'm happy he's back in WWE because it just feels like they're using him in the right manner. Like there was so much cool potential with him as Malachi Black in AEW, but again, it's just like here he is and there he isn't. And where's Black? I know he got hurt a couple times and things like that, but it's oh my gosh, he could have been a main eventer for them and they didn't use him in the right manner. It was just so frustrating. That House of Black was such a cool execution of a faction that was really exciting and neat. and just not made anything the most of. So there we go. So I'm taking that this is a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank. Solo. So is he in the Money in the Bank? Help me out here, guys. Is he in the Money in the Bank? He defeated Jimmy Uso and Rey Fenix. It sounds like yes. I don't know. Help me out there. So Solo being in the mix is good news. Then we had Tiffany Stratton taking on Nia Jax. So it seems like a pretty healthy episode of SmackDown. The Bon Scott Center, Johnny just said. Let's see. Oh man, Triple E, this is a controversial statement here. The spinner belt was the second best title behind the big gold world heavyweight title. Man, boy, that if you had me say what's the worst WWE championship, what's the worst championship of all time? Like from a visual standpoint, it's the spinner belt. It was cool for Cena, but like then they kept it when there was no reason to have that belt anymore. I mean, there was a reason. It sold money. It sold toys. That was the reason. But it was a horrible belt because it made no sense for anybody else besides John. How old are you, Triple E, if you don't mind me asking? Because I mean, that can kind of certainly make your judgment a little bit different. If you grew up as a kid with that being a primary championship, you'd probably have different feelings than I would or somebody else would. The spinner with the rated R was great. See, now people do like it. Dre Owens likes it too, in that manner. So, I mean, I can't hate on it completely. And plus, it did sell money, so I understand that aspect of the business too. But it's also like, I'm more so, I want to see people wear the same belt that Bruno wore back in the day. And I know that never really happened and came to fruition because, the title looks so much different from the big gold eagle to what Bruno had. So I'm the big gold eagle guy. That's my favorite world championship would probably be that one. Okay, so Triple E, you're right in that thick of that action though. So yeah, I mean, if you're 29 years old, that's you're a John Cena belt guy. Like to a certain level, and plus the World Heavyweight Championship that was still around. That was around that year time too. So I buy into that. I understand the reasoning now. He probably did have a rated R title. Well, I don't know if it was spinner or non-spinner. I didn't like it though when they would change the title to fit the person. Like even when Austin or The Rock, when Austin got the smoking skull belt, it just felt like, I understand Austin's the star, but like it's cool that he's holding the belt that like Bret Hart held and Hulk Hogan held and stuff like that. Trey Owens says they should bring back the European title for the European tour. That'd be cool. Too many titles though, and I'm just trying to think what you could get rid of to have that title. That's the other thing too. Like, what are you getting rid of to make it that? So, least favorite title was the 24/7. Yeah, that was probably the worst title you could have in WWE. Yeah, I like the Hardcore Championship. Like doing the show with RVD has made me understand again how legitimate he made that Hardcore Championship. You think about what the Hardcore title was, and like it was kind of like a joke championship in certain ways because it was much like the 24/7 title. Now, as a kid, I thought it was fun because, oh my God, they're wrestling it out in the snow and they're wrestling in the McDonald's ball pit. This is hilarious and fun. But it's also like, you think about what ECW was doing in the day, and then RVD comes in and like he's feuding over with it with Jeff Hardy, and then he's taking that title around, and it made it feel like a really, really big deal. Like, cool. And like, so then you get guys in the mix like Steve Blackman holding it, which I loved. I love Steve Blackman. Like, and so him as the Hardcore Championship was sweet. So like a championship like that, you could bring something like that back. I think the Hardcore Championship and kind of make it fun, but you'd have to really do your due diligence on making it feel legitimate at the same time too. The speed title can go. It seems pretty useless. So I thought the speed title was cool. I did think it was, and I thought it was a cool concept. And you're making it like X exclusive and stuff like that. I would almost. there's a different way you can do your due diligence on this too. I would say that just roughly you could have it positioned once a month on one of your regular programs, whether that's SmackDown or Raw. Once a month it gets defended. This is a 3-minute match, and it's a free advertisement for people to tune in on X when a lot of the matches go on. The Speed Championship's on the line here. I don't know what days it is on the line, but you showcase it on one of your main programs and catch us every Friday on X or whatever it is. I don't know, but like then you have your Speed Championship match on there, and then that would make it feel like a thing too, because it's kind of like Collision. If you don't watch it, you're not going to know about it. So why would I care about a championship I don't see? So the Speed Championship, I think, is a cool concept. You got to win in 3 minutes. Holy crap. All right, I'll tune into that. And you can definitely do something with that. So if I were to make a suggestion, I would say, hey, maybe put this on like once a month on Raw or SmackDown, or once a month on each show. So if you're tuning into Netflix, this is the Speed Championship. Oh, I got to go watch that on X if that's where they're defending it all the time. This is cool. Same with SmackDown. You know, just get that crossover synergy going on. Oh, see, Triple E knows it. Wednesday speed matches on X at 12 p.m. There you go. There you go. Showcase on Raw 1 week, showcase on SmackDown another week, and there you go. You know? Oh, I'm not sure I get the joke. The speed, maybe I will when I read it. The speed, oh, yes. I get what you mean. The speed title defended on X, the tournament should be called the Paraphernalia Cup. Am I right? I get it. That is a drug reference. All right. Well, hey, what a fun show it's been. Probably feels like I was on speed today, right? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I will be back tomorrow, maybe with a special guest. Maybe it'll be stuck with me again. But hey, if you are stuck with me, I always like to include you guys in as almost my co-host in a lot of ways. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, from Wrestling Old Head, Triple E, Johnny Disco, Cammy, Dre Owens, Tony Gong. Hope I'm not missing other people. Johnny Disco, did I say you already? But yes, really appreciate everybody tuning in. Ron Ward, obviously. I love the sarcasm that Ron Ward brings, and Robert Mader making a run into Willie Thornbrew as well. Do you think R-Truth versus Cena will be a squash? I hope not. Do I hope? Yeah, I think it will be a squash, and I think it should be a squash now that I think about it, because I think you can have a lot of fun with R-Truth, like give him the hope spots in certain ways. I'm kind of going back on what I'm thinking now, because I think this is an opportunity to make R-Truth a little bit more legitimate. Like, you've heard, people might be familiar when Killer Cross said, like, you haven't seen Ron Killings, like TNA Ron Killings and things like that. We haven't seen that. Now, R-Truth as a heel back in 2010, like Capital Punishment or whatever it was called, where he like ripping cigs and all that stuff, and he was a heel. I like that R-Truth. Now, I think this would be a good opportunity to legitimize Truth, like give him a change of character. This is like, because this is like his ultimate opponent, right? This is like his WrestleMania in a lot of ways, and so it's like, what do you do with a character like that after the fact that he's climbed that Mount Everest, to reference Darby Allin? So I think this is a good opportunity to pivot away from what R-Truth that we're used to and get a new R-Truth. We'll leave it on that. All right. I want to thank everybody who has shared or contributed to Sabu's GoFundMe to help with his funeral and other expenses surrounding all that. Wow. Just an overwhelming amount of contributions. Guys like Scott Demore donated so much money. Chris Jericho, Joey Janela. My gosh, there was an anonymous, big time anonymous donation that was made. I don't want to forget other people. Blue Meanie, Joel Gertner, and then the fans. A lot of the fans and everybody all contributed. Brian Myers was another name I happened to see. But just want to thank everybody for doing that. And man, so cool to see that everybody all come together and help out Sabu's family during such a time like this. where we pay tribute to Sabu's legacy, what he meant to us as fans, what he meant to the business as well, to his colleagues and everything like that. So really cool and heartwarming to see. So thank you, everybody. If you guys would like to do that, you can check out the GoFundMe now. There's also other ways you can help support Sabu family as well. There's a Sabu tribute tee on Pro Wrestling Tees you can check out. There's actually a little micro brawler now that they're going to have up for pre-sale, I believe right now, where he's in his attire that he had at GCW for his final match. So be sure to check that out. All those proceeds go to Sabu's family. So thank you, everybody, for doing that and showing your support and love for Sabu. Also, if you haven't yet, check out One of a Kind with RVD. Me, Rob Van Dam, and Taz all get together. Katie Forbes as well. We all get together to chat about Sabu, what he meant to us, what he meant to the business, and all the elements around him that made Sabu truly one and only. So be sure to check that out. That's up right now on rvdtv.com. You can check out the full episode there. Clips will be posted throughout the week as well. Support, share, subscribe, like all that. Also support, share, and like Working Stiff. That's up now on your podcast feed of choice. Scott and Robert cover a lot, including Sabu and everything. So that new episode is up, and you can enjoy that as well. As far as anything else goes that's cooking, just be on the lookout this week for some guests I'm going to try to get on to fill some space without Robert here. I really do enjoy flying solo, though, a lot of the times, too, because it's like I don't have a run sheet. I just got to make sure I do the ad reads, and then I talk about what I watch. We'll talk about Raw, what goes on down on Raw tonight. So from Greenville, South Carolina. So thank you, everybody. Best of luck in your future endeavors, and help me figure out what the original shows on FX were. See you next time. What's the story? Wishbone.